Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, a lot of people think that my firing range versus calculations versus open world is a bullshit video. I look to see likes versus dislikes, and got a lot of likes, but some dislikes. So for the dislikers, we're gonna disprove your little theory right here, because some of you just you don't want to accept it. You think that numbers are always the best off of Excel. Even though I do use Excel, it's still not always right. So let's prove it this morning, shall we? Here we go. Alright, headshot, everything. Go for it. 2.4, 2.9, and you can see we got armor up here. So we jumped up to 2.9. Now let's go find ourselves a little yellow, shall we? Because some people think my video is doctored or edited. We will walk right down here, and we will go test it. Actually, I think it's right about here, isn't it? Yeah. So let's go prove it. Because in that build that you can see, I don't change anything. Backpacks, my color coordination, weapons, specialization, none of that was changed. So let's go disprove these little suckers early this morning, shall we? Hey, how y'all doing? But it's always funny how Excel guys always want to shoot chest shots and never aim for the headshot to get all the damages, all the possibilities. They always just want to show certain ones. But that's always them. Oh, we got a named enemy, 2 purples, 3 purples, no extra yellow. Okay. So we can't do it there, because we got all those. So let's go see if we can just roam around, possibly over. See if we can find an elite something. Elite convoy. Elite patrol. Ooh, that works perfectly. So again, early in the morning, we already have to disprove this. It's so sad. But some people want to be peoples, you know.
Hostile control point detected.
Again, what a lot of people fail to realize is there's a difference between Xbox, console, PC, and that's the biggest problem. And they want to just say that it's always best with Excel numbers. They always want to say it's best in gameplay. It's always best in firing range when you show numbers. And they fail to realize that Xbox versus PC versus, you know, all those scenarios are not being played out. So here we go to disprove their little bullshit yet again, because people don't want to accept it. Okay, we got a yellow over there. You gotta be careful on which one we shoot.
Shit! They got shield! No good!
Okay.
System disrupted.
Yep. Gotta play this very slow,
System reactivated.
because we don't want to hurt that one. So we got 2.7. Okay, we got our bleed. Come on, get close. I'll land this headshot. We didn't get it. Come on, show me.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
Put him down. Take him down. I got him. Right here.
2.94. I got a few chest shots. Can't you count that? You gotta get rid of these headshots.
Guy here. We're over there.
2.94. See, saw 2.9, 2.91, 2.94. See how it fluctuates? Y'all see how it fluctuates? Yeah, the numbers are different. Yeah. 2.2. Okay, that's because it's all he had left.
Incoming hostiles detected.
Support station ready. Hit him.
1.6, 1.67. Yeah, the numbers vary, ladies and gentlemen. .8, yep. See, like, and it still had armor. See what I mean? Some people just don't want to accept the fact that you're right. 2.94.
Shut up and take it.
So it's never the same number. Never the same number, and they had armor. So, yeah. Anybody who wants to say that your calculations on Excel versus this right here, you don't understand that the game will fluctuate at times. Yep, perfect. You got extra health. 2.91, you see that? 2.91 versus the 2.94. See how it changes? But yeah, they always want to say Excel numbers are always accurate, but they're not.
Detecting additional hostile contacts.
It's sad. I actually have to show that. Because people don't want to listen.
Damn back is ready. You can thank me later. Let me do my thing.
I'm just taking my time trying to make sure I get just the headshot numbers. No extra body shots, no nothing.
Errors on the way.
Got another.
Serious trauma detected.
Give up now.
But it's okay. You know, everybody wants to say that their stuff is always right, always accurate, and it's not.
Sending it.
I don't think I shot you. Oh, I didn't.
That's one less division.
Stay behind me. Good here.
Another perfect example. We've been seeing 2.76 on the health, and there's 2.7 right there before they still had it, or 2.72. Yeah. Yeah. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Excel numbers are never always accurate either. Sad to say it, but they don't want to believe you half the time.
Jefferson, Franklin, you're all just
Ooh,
firefighters.
another perfect example. Let's go get these guys.
Law.
Fuck you and the threat.
2.97. 2.907. You see that? Yep. Nope. Completely different. Sorry to burst your bubbles, ladies and gentlemen. Excel is not always accurate because it varies from console to PC to everything, so it's pretty sad. And then the other part was what? Let's see. Burst damage or straight damage versus sustained damage. So your sustained damage is doing damage for a long period of time, which would be similar to putting on this right here for your backpack. You're going to get more sustained damage on this over a longer period because you have 20 seconds. Versus putting on this, you have more damage for just 3 seconds, which even though it's 5%, it's not longer. So your better bet for sustained damage on your build would be like tech support. Is this better? Yes, because it keeps these two's damage because you're trying to get most of it out. This right here is what helps. So again, you can even go and do like the wyvern and the sacrifice chest piece, so you can get more sustained damage out of these, and it would help you out. Versus when you're doing DPS like this and you're using this, you're going to get more damage in a longer period of time by using the M1A. So again, it depends on your weapons, your build, and everything else. DPS versus sustained DPS. For instance, right here, everybody wants to say that the Eclipse chest piece is better in this. No, it's not, because while you may not take this glass cannon effect, you then are not doing enough status from this, or is your weapon doing more damage? So is this the better option? 100%, because while you're having the Eclipse chest piece on, your burns and everything else might be doing a longer duration, but they're not, because we showed that the duration does not affect anything. It's all about this right here to get your weapon, which can also do status, to give out the more damage in total. So again, this here is DPS and sustained at the same time, so they synergize together. Same with this one. If we go to this, we have this here for instantaneous, giving us the status effects, giving us the damage. This right here for the extra damage, because our main weapon is going to be the mortar. So this is about getting the most DPS out versus sustained. We're not trying to sustain it, we're trying to kill them faster, as fast as possible. So this is where you would go to. Let's see. My pistol build that I was just using, we can get our sustained damage from the Wicked Taunt because it gives you more duration. It allows you to do more duration. Versus we used to use Adrenaline Rush Intimidate, and because it was nerfed down, we have to get rid of the sustained off that piece and go for the sustainability of keeping up Wicked going for a longer period of time, so we can keep that damage going for a longer period of time. So because of that, we go with the bleed effect to give us also the regen and everything, and then we go for as much DPS as we possibly can. Now, the cool part about this is I found a DNH backpack, which we're going to test out to see if that's going to give us more than the new Picaro holster, which is coming, because so we're going to trade that off for this to get an extra 5%, and then the skill haste for this. So if the DNH versus the Grupo hits harder, we're going to go with that. And if it is, cool, because I actually got a Wicked crit that I can do blue. So it's so much. This can be so much fun. And then I'll show you all that later. Let's see, what else do we have? Here we go. Another good sustained damage versus DPS. So, for instance, everybody loves to do a bleed build. And what they do is they put their FAMAS on, which the FAMAS doesn't do as much compared to the SIG MPX for almost the same RPM. Now, here's the neat part. The FAMAS allows them to beam the headshots, right? So that's a player's choice type role, versus they have to put in all the crit chance. So where you see my Sokolov, you would see a Fenris and you would see a bunch of crit chance. So where you see the yellow on this, you would see the crit chance. and they're losing out on this extra sustained damage from their build. Now, why do they see that? Is because while they're trying to get the crit chance out, I don't need it. So my bleed build is at 47 and 188. Now, I could easily drop a little bit of that crit damage off and put crit chance, but to beat the FAMAS, I have to be at the 188 mark. So with this build, I put in the sustained damage of status effects, which comes from my bleed hive or the bleed off my chest piece, and the Petrov gloves, which gives me the damage to armor, which does even more damage. Now, that sustained damage that we have off the build also increases our survivability, because let me go show you.
Identified.
Let me find. Do I want? We could hit there. Yeah, let's just go hit this real quick. Let me show you an example. So again, while everybody's using the bleed build with the FAMAS, again, for y'all who just jumped in, the problem that they're having is the bleed goes away too long or too fast. It doesn't do enough damage to help their build out. Versus mine actually will keep the bleed going longer, allowing you for more regen for a longer duration of time, another sustained bit of damage. And it also, the SMG version is going to hit harder than your FAMAS version. You see, we got bleed on them for a long, long period of time. Let's kill this one.
Incoming hostiles detected. Access key detected.
Now, if that wasn't a good enough explanation, what we can do is I'll go to the shooting range, show you there. Again, because people want to say that damage numbers out in the open and all that kind of stuff is different. So let's go show it. Because sometimes in combat it's a little hard to explain. And this is why you got to show all different versions at times. So, okay, we're going to damage ourselves here. Okay. Get that to 25, get this to 5, get this to 5, set this for at least a veteran so we have armor. Set this for at least veteran so we have armor. Okay, so as you can see, I've shown this before in some of my videos. The bleed effect hits for 44k, and that's just right there off the rip. And you see it lasts for so much longer. We're able to get at least half or higher of our armor back, just because of the status effect duration. So the status effect on your build allows it to stay on them longer, as well as doing more damage. And because it's doing more damage at the same time, you're getting more completely, or should say total, out. So that's where a lot of people make a mistake with their bleed builds. Is everybody wants to go to the FAMAS. Everybody wants to go to some kind of AR build. And that's fine. I mean, that's player's choice. But you can get more damage out of it by doing this and survivability. So that's, again, sustained damage over a period of time type build. That's what I mean. You guys will always think that sustained is only about your weapon. It's also about your build and how the build works. So that's one thing a lot of people forget to add into their calculations when they're using Excel. They're not counting on the build, on how it synergizes with the weapons as well. So Let's see here. What else? What's another good definition or explanation? Let's check our crap. Ooh. I might keep that. I think I already have one. We'll see if it's better than the other one. I still got to check that commando. And we got all these caches from last night. Alright. Let's go check other builds for sustained versus straight DPS. Because some people just don't want to believe it.
Safe area.
Another, okay, there's that. Okay, another great example I forgot to mention. Sustained versus straight DPS. So, for instance, we have our straight deer. But here's a problem. Even with perfect glass cannon, you can take in damage, and if you take in, you have to be putting out a med pack, right? So another great example of sustained versus DPS. You have the DPS, but you don't have the sustained. Because once you have to take cover to put on a med pack, you screw yourself. Same with vigilance. If I were to take in damage, I lose my vigilance proc. Yes, I get this back in 3 seconds, so this increases my sustained damage because I lose that second versus regular vigilance. Let's see. Heartbreaker. I get to have sustained damage just by having on the laser pointer, just because I'm able to keep shooting with this. As well as, if I were to switch to this, I can put on a pulse to give myself the sustained damage off the build, not just the weapons. Because as long as they stay pulsed, I get the damage for the chest piece. So again, when people keep sitting here talking about sustained damage and DPS, they're neglecting to mention your build. For instance, another one right here. Though the Negotiator's backpack does give 100% damage to each of the targets you shoot, it is a good thing for sustained when you're shooting multiple enemies. Again, multiple enemies. When you're not shooting multiple enemies, this here becomes shit. Now, is it great? Because, yeah, it depends on how you shoot. So, the best example I can give you is, let me go down here and show you. So we're going to set this not for very hard. We're just going to set this for hard. Now the reason why we're setting this for hard is, you see that red back there? We shoot the red last. Now, if you're in combat and you happen to have a build like this, the Negotiators, you would always go for the weaker guy last. Now here's why. Because when I hit this guy, I crit on him, I'm critting on him. So while I'm critting on these guys, I kill those. I go to the next higher damage one, just like if I had a named enemy. I'd hit this one, I crit off those. Boom. See? By that time, I've weakened them down to where that one's barely got anything, and I kill them. That's how you keep your sustained damage on with this. At the same time, you get your main damage out of the way. So, it's not just about the sustained on the weapons, it's about the build. So, for all y'all who hated my video, hopefully y'all understand where I'm coming from on this, because you guys just don't understand that stuff. Yes, exactly. You just used my Foundry Bulwark build to run through your first legendary mission. Yeah, no problem, man. I bet that was so much easier than what you've been having. So, for instance, another thing, ladies and gentlemen, if I go to an Aces build, we're not trying to go for sustained damage. We're trying to go for the damage, right? So you would go for something similar to this. Now, you can go glass cannon, you can go focus, whatever you prefer. I use headhunters. I'm not trying to go for sustained, like hitting multiple enemies. This is about DPS. Your build is about DPS. So you can't sit here and say that sustained damage or DPS damage is always going to be your better choice. Again, as long as you can still go for, like even this one right here, I went for sustained damage, but I know how to use this to benefit for instant one-person type damage. I didn't die even once, so definitely okay, cool. Another one. We have the sustained damage from the Wicked itself. It's sustained because we keep it up for longer by using the Wicked. Versus using the backpack, that's just sustained for our status if we wanted to use the blue screen. Now, still, we can get sustained damage from this right here by also adding in the status effect. That way we can get those bleed bullets back faster. At the same time, we want to go with something that's going to give us the most in our magazine. Now, you see a lot of people doing this. They will literally put on these extra rounds. These are not needed. These are honest to God not needed. Go for your stability. Go for your reload speed. Go for your crit damage. Something like that. You don't need these extra rounds. It's got 200 rounds. If you can't get your bleed bullets in 200 rounds, there's something wrong with you. Okay, I'm sorry to say it. This one here, 100 rounds. And it does status effects. If you can't get your bleed rounds onto this build, there's something wrong with you or your playstyle. Strikers, another one. Keeping its sustained damage up is going to be the biggest trick in the new update coming here tomorrow. So, how do we keep this sustained? Well, we also want to increase its survivability. There's nothing better on a strikers than increasing its survivability than putting on the memento. Because you're going to be landing so many kills and so many shots, you might as well put your memento on for your strikers. Just say screw it to the backpack and put on the mementos. Now, also, because we're putting on the memento, we can't put on the coyotes. Believe me, I would love to put on the coyotes and the catharsis with the memento backpack. I want it to be like Div1 where I can put all exotics wherever the hell I want to put them. We might see that someday. Who knows? I doubt it, but who knows? But I digress. To get the most damage out, even though, yes, we're mainly going to be using the shotgun to get this out, you could put a piece of Badger Tuff to get the weapons damage. But because I like to go for both my weapons, not just one, I'm going to go with the damage to targets out of cover to help all my weapons out. So again, the build has to synergize with your weapons if you're going to talk about sustained. So this is how we get our sustained out from the build itself, is getting those types of damage pieces out. Now, as you see, we don't have a whole lot of crit chance on the shotgun, but we do have the crit damage. Again, shotguns, because they shoot so many pellets, we don't need that much. Now, I can easily trade out all this crit damage because of how high it is. I can easily go in here and say, you know, where's that? Go to crit chance. I can put these in instantly and get my crit chance for my shotgun. No problem. Just like this. So if this is how you would prefer it look, as long as you break that 30 plane on shotguns, you're in you're in a excuse me. Sorry about that. Anybody listening? My apologies. You can easily get that out. So I can drop this down if I need to say excuse me, to add in some more crit damage. Now, again, the most important thing you need to know is, where does your crit chance need to be for your builds? Whew, damn, that cough hurt me. Shotguns only need to break the 30 plane. Ladies and gentlemen, you just need to break that 30 plane. Now, as for ARs, you need to break the 40 plane. As for SMGs, they will always break that 40 plane. So once you break that 40 plane, you can take it to like as close as you can to 50, and they help out even more. So that's another thing of knowing where your build is to get the sustained damage out. And that's also in your crit chance, where your crit chance is, where it's going to be at. So again, I don't have this one maxed out, so this will not show you great numbers, but, and not only that, I don't have the memento backed up. So I'm just going to show you some numbers real quick. And you see the crit chance. See how we have, what is it, a few where sometimes it just goes blue, which is the damage to the armor, versus the crit chance. See how they always jump up. Some of them won't crit. If I were to throw in this extra crit chance, those numbers will go higher. But as you saw beforehand, the very first shot we had a lot of crit. You see we crit again, but we drop damage numbers. And you see we're still only got that one time to crit. So again, breaking that 30 plane, that's all you have to do. Not always is that going to be the best option for the build, because you can see like there, we only had 2 crit versus we have, what, 5 crit right there, and then 4 crit, 2 crit. So again, it doesn't matter on the shotguns. It's more about trying to get your crit damage out that you possibly can. So if we wanted to, we could even trade that crit damage on the foxes and get it up even higher if we need to. But you don't have to. If you can break the 30 plane with shotguns, you're in a good position. Why? Because most likely somebody in your team is going to have the Coyote's mask. If they have the Coyote's mask, that's going to give you 25. So if you can get 35%, just 35% crit chance on a shotgun build, and someone who's playing from farther away gives you that Coyote's proc of 25, you're going to be at the spot that you need for the 60%. That's why I make the builds the way they do. Because someone else is going to give me that damage, and then, or that crit chance, and I'll have the damage on the build. So hopefully that helps y'all out. Let's see. I think this would be another good one. Let me... I don't know why I did that. Sustained versus DPS. Another great build example. We're not going for DPS. We are going for sustained. But at the same time, we're trying to hand out more DPS to our teammates. So it's about the synergy. So like this build right here, I have opportunistic. That gives me my DPS and my teammates DPS. We have Overwatch. This gives our teammates more DPS versus sustain. I'm not going for the sustained on this. Or DPS. I'm going for the sustain. Sorry. My bad. I got it backwards. So it's not just about the weapon. And that's what a lot of YouTubers and everybody else want to sit here and make you believe with the Excel pages. Again, as from the very beginning of this video, people want to sit here and say that this here sustained damage on this, or this sustained damage on this, or this sustained damage on this weapon is more important. It's not. It's about the build, ladies and gentlemen. It's never about your weapon. It's about your build included to synergize with your weapon. And they always forget to put that in their videos. So, we have sustained damage for our teammates here and here just by using this. That's how we get our personal DPS out, but we're giving more sustain because it lasts for however long you're in cover. It lasts for however many times you hit that player for 5 or enemy for 5 seconds. So that's sustaining their damage that they can see. So if I shoot this one and then I go over here and I shoot this target, they have a chance for 5 seconds to hit that damage or hit that player and get that extra damage. So again, let's see. Excuse me, damn it, wrong pipe. Fit for purpose. Yes, exactly. The type of scenarios you're in. For instance, okay, a couple days ago, I'm going to explain this one because it's a little hard to show. We did Legendary right here. Now, on Legendary, you come to, what is it, the 4th room, where you go up and you see the dogs, the 2 dogs that are up there, and then you come around and you go through some little area. You open up a door, and there's a kind of like a a hallway or something like right over here. You basically you go in, you kill all these ads, you turn, you go right, you kill some ads, you go up a set of staircase over here, and then after you go up a set of staircase, you see 2 dogs, and then you fight them in a straightaway or something like that over here. So when you start to fight them in that straightaway, normally you only see like 2 purple dogs on a Legendary come out, right? We saw 3. Again, the game will throw out random scenarios against certain players. So the scenario of your build will also depict on the scenario that's inside of what you're fighting. So that can't be shown sometimes because everybody thinks that it's a perfect scenario where you can come in and all the ads are going to come out the same door sometimes. There was another thing where last night, if y'all saw it, in my other live video, we went and hit countdown. And I kid y'all not, the boss never spawned. We didn't expect that scenario. We had no clue that that scenario was going to play out. We literally lost on countdown the extra piece because something caused the boss not to spawn. So expecting those scenarios while you're playing with the build that you're using, they could be coming out of different doors. And the same thing even just for regular countdown. You're planning with all these builds that you have for that perfect scenario. Every build you have on your character, you're planning for that perfect scenario. But even in countdown, you don't know which door they're coming out of. So how can you walk up and one-tap somebody if you don't know what door they're coming out of? Again, everybody always makes their build videos about that perfect scenario. Me, I'm not trying for that perfect scenario. I'm trying for all shit just broke fucking loose. So, another good one. We have sustained damage versus just DPS. I get a tag, and they don't take my blue armor away. I have DPS right here, and it's slowly ticking up. I could easily go for, say, what's the talent? I can go for, let's say, Spotter. Let's say I put on, what's another good one? Obliterate. I could put Obliterate on this build. And I'm going to have good DPS. The problem is, even with this build, it's not a sustained one, because if I don't get enough kills in a certain period of time, I lose out on the 25% extra damage. The killing debuffed enemies with your weapon disorientates them within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by 5 seconds, or 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So that gives me 25% damage. Now, I have 10 seconds between kills, to get another kill and so on, and build that up. That's how I get my DPS out. As long as I'm still killing ads, I can sustain that damage. But if I have to go to another room and it takes me more than 10 seconds to go from this encounter to that encounter and I lose that, I lose my sustained damage, the DPS that I built up, and I screw myself out. So people forget that that's also part of your build, of your weapons. We just want to talk about this? No, we can't just talk about the damage that I get from this at all. And I keep this one on for 10 seconds because it gives me 30% weapon damage just by killing a target within 7 meters. And your job is to be this close anyways. So I get more damage out of that than anything else. So again, trading those pieces off, it will drop your sustained damage and your DPS off. And a lot of players forget that piece. They just want to talk about your weapons. They forget to talk about the build when they're showing you build videos. Another one, for instance, right here. Okay. I can easily go throw the rigger chest piece on. Yes, I could. No problem. The rigger chest piece gives you the glass cannon effect without having to take in the 50%. So I get that for my skill, right? Okay, I'm okay with that. And then I could go put a piece of china here, piece of china here, piece of china here. Okay, cool. Awesome. I get that rigger effect just by using this. But then I don't get the damage for the capacitor because I'm missing the 25% for this, because the glass cannon gives me 25 for my build and 25 for my weapon. So a lot of people forget that tiny little piece when they're showing your build videos. So everybody asks, well, why do you always go with glass cannon? Because I want my weapon to do damage. I want my skills to do damage. I want my build to be what synergizes this link to this link. The best way I can describe it is this build is in the middle, and it works for these up here and these down here. Everything from the top should synergize with the bottom. And how do I make that synergy? Is from what's right here on my character. So, let's see here. Let's go search some other ones.
Safe area.
Because again,
detected.
you got idiots who think that Excel and all that's accurate. Let's show them again. You got people who think the firing range is the only way. You got people who think that the gameplay is the only way. Let's do this. So, for instance, you can easily put on the waveform holster on this build. You easily could, with no problem. It would give you the extra damage for the skills and everything. But it doesn't synergize. It doesn't help this build out. Why? Because you're missing the headshot. This is all about landing the headshot. So we need the DPS part. Not the sustained damage. We need the DPS. So for instance, right here, I would not run glass cannon. The reason why is because we're trying to keep the sustained damage up versus the DPS part, so we put on kinetic momentum. Now, how does that help? Is because we're not having to put a med pack on as often. So that's how you keep your sustained up. Now, with this one right here, we would also not run this. We would not run combined arms. Why? Because if I shoot something, I have to shoot it within 3 seconds. So if I miss my sniper shot or something like that, guess what? I lose out on this damage, and then when I try to shoot them with the turret, it doesn't help me. So sustained, we're talking tech support. Same with this. That's a sniper turret. So you have to know where the sustained damage is versus the DPS. Now this gives both, because once you get this and this maxed out, we get the DPS. Now this DPS does not help the weapon, it helps the skills. So we hit the headshot. Rather than using like text or in sync, or there's another one for skills, we would go with the surge. Now there are times when I'm solo that this headshot damage actually helps. It's hard for me to show sometimes. Maybe I'll be able to get to show it today. I don't know. But there are times when this headshot, this extra attribute on the bottom, is the only one that counts, and I don't know why. I don't understand. Maybe there's a bug in the system or something. But the perfect spike, the surge, is better than the white death. I will say that right now because it's guaranteed. For some reason, this here, I thought there was a camo that's supposed to work with this. Isn't there a camo I had? Hold on. I thought there was a camo. Didn't I have a camo? Nope. Nope. I did. Where's this? It's a lightweight M4. Isn't this one supposed to work with the surge? Sorry, I had to go check that. I thought it was supposed to work with a surge. Okay, but anyway. For instance, right here. This headshot damage, you don't technically need it. You can drop this down to weapon handling so you can hit better. I prefer to use this so that way I can aim at the headshots. Because we can't put this one on. I would rather put that one on, but we'll just go with this one. And I'll demonstrate that here in a second. For instance, down here, we would want accuracy or stability. Same with this. We could put stability here. Now, the accuracy part is mainly for shooting out of cover. So, let me make sure I don't have any of these. It's for the underbarrel rail, which would be here. We have stability. That's for the pistols. That's reload speed. Okay. So, for instance, here, you could put stability or you could put accuracy. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to show you all this. If I put on this accuracy, what a lot of people don't understand is accuracy also helps you in this situation. Alright, so you can see my weapon right here. Let me set my green dot real quick. I always forget to reset that thing in the morning. Alright, green dot right in the red, middle of the red. See the accuracy of that? It shoots off to the bottom right. How it just kind of keeps it right there around the circle. The higher we put our accuracy, and we can probably do that here. I think I have accuracy. Let's go and put on more accuracy rather than headshot. You see we have more accuracy now. Way more. See the accuracy? I'm able to hit those headshots a lot easier. So, the higher you put your accuracy allows you to shoot from in cover. So, I can sit here and hit that headshot ever so often, and I don't have to come out of cover. So, allowing that to happen also will give you this. Now, see, I can't aim and hit the headshot with the sniper turret. But if I do this, boom, we get that. So, let's do this. Oh, it's on normal. Crap. Forgot. This is one character I just don't use. This is my watch point character. Alright. Reset this. I did not get the numbers off that. I had to go back and look at it again. I'm seeing 13 right there. Yeah, I see 12.9. Now I switched to the sniper rifle. So we went from 13 to 12.9. So as y'all can see, sometimes, again, for some reason, I don't know why, the White Death doesn't work. There are times when I'm actually out there versus in the shooting range. It actually works. Like, I can see like a 21 mil number jump up. I don't know why. Maybe it's a bug. Maybe it's not. Maybe there's something else going on. I don't know. But again, sustained, we get the sustained from the tech support, from this, because we're not having to put a med pack on as often. So again, they always want to talk about sustained versus DPS. It's not just about that. It's about your build as well. So all these guys using Excel pages, you're forgetting these tiny little things. Another build, for example. We can go with sustained by putting on a build to make it look like this. Okay, I can increase it by putting the DPS part on with this one, but it does not give me sustained damage. Again, I can get an extra bit of damage just by putting this knee pads on to get the more damage out, but it does not give me sustained. Versus if I go with this, I get sustained because I'm going with damage targets out of cover, which means I can do this. I can run around out in the open, shoot. I can be out here just shooting away with my pestilence and still have the same damage. Versus this one here, I have to be stationary. So the moment I come out of stationary, I lose damage. So that's not sustained damage. That's just DPS. Because say they shoot a grenade right here and it lands and then it knocks me out of cover. Well, then see, it resets. Well, what happened there? Well, now I'm losing my sustained damage. Now, another thing is, the sustained part that I put on here is for the tick. So, for instance, I can easily trade this and go for bullet sustained damage by putting on the coyotes and drop the heartbreaker off. Versus I can get sustained bullet damage by going with the crit chance crit damage part. So again, breaking this 30 plane for the LMG, someone else is probably going to run coyotes. I can get sustained damage out for the tick and sustained damage for the weapon because I have these in there. Now again, I can easily trade out this crit damage for crit chance so I can crit more bullets. Everybody wants to put on weapon handling, and when you put on weapon handling, then your bullets become Nerf bullets. So it doesn't help. So again, the DPS part that we're trying to get out of the build, we need the crit chance and the crit damage all over the build, not weapon handling. Now, weapon handling, don't get me wrong, it can make it where you can hit pretty easily. But I can do the same just by putting on, as you see, the minigunner. The minigunner gives you extra weapon handling. So, it's a player's play style. You can sit here and see a Grupo and a second piece of Petrov. And who knows, with the new Picaro holster, you'll probably see that come into play, and then a piece of Grupo over here, which would give my bullets even more damage. Now, it's not going to give me this 15% LMG. It's just going to give me 15% weapon damage, which, again, it might change the way this build gets set up. And then I get the more crit chance out, the more crit damage. So we'll see that later on. We honestly will see later on. I still think that when I change this out, I'm going to put a Grupo here and the new Picaro holster, red one. And the Pestilence build is just going to become even more powerful, honestly, just because of that. Because then I get the crit chance and the crit damage out. But again, I digress. That when you use this build, it's about the gear you have on. Like these two, for instance. I can get more bullet damage out this way, but I get more sustained damage this way. So, when you sit here and see people talking about sustained or bullet damage, they need to make sure that they're showing you the builds that they're using, not just talking about the weapon. Because if they just talk about the weapon, they're fucking up. They're fucking up badly. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so for instance, right here, I have headshot weapon handling. This is not about sustained. I still need to go get the pistol because I can't get that one done. But again, even if I'm using this pistol, this is not about sustained damage. This is about hitting those shots. It is about DPS, period. And you see headshot damage, weapon handling, headshot damage, weapon handling everywhere. So, for instance, if I come down here, and please don't switch to my pistol. There we go. Again, this is not about sustain. This is about just as much damage as possible. Boom. That's about DPS, right? It's not about sustained damage. It's about the DPS. The sustain part that I have is the shield to keep me alive and to keep the vigilance from being lost. And then as long as I'm using something and hitting those headshots, I'm keeping this sustained for when this comes into play. Boom. So there's your sustained piece. And then you have the DPS part, which is about this and this. So it's about, again, build synergy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. Yeah, another good example is this build that I have. My just fun build. The fun build. Again, we have... did I have that other chess piece? I thought I had that other chess piece. Maybe it's in the... Maybe it is. Did I have it? I thought I got another one. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to myself. I could have sworn I grabbed one the other day. Skill haste. No, it was armor regen. There it is. Yes. Armor regen, yellows. This allows me to take this crit chance off and go for crit damage. Now, again, I have the 3 red cores, the 3 blue cores, and the 3 yellow cores. 1, 2, and 3 up here. Now, that allows me to keep this, because this here is my sustained damage on my drone because it keeps it alive. I have the sustained damage from the in sync as well because it synergizes with the drone as long as it's still shooting, and it gives me my DPS at the same time. The laser pointer, which is on this, allows this to give my DPS by spotting them. So anything that has been pulsed will get the damage. So there's your DPS. So again, this is the part that a lot of people forget to mention, is getting your sustained damage and your DPS out at the same time. So not always is it about sustained damage on your weapon or DPS on your weapon. It's about getting them all out at the same time to make a good build. So, and also, because the new Picaro holster also gives a skill haste, we'll trade this Seska out and get that extra weapon damage, and we're going to test that out, see if that's even better, because again, we're sitting at what, 52%, so we can drop 10% off and get some skill haste as well as extra weapon damage. So we'll see how that does. We're going to trade that Picaro holster for a crit damage armor regen 1 later. We'll see how that does. Now, for instance, this is my 7.3% regen. Now, how do I get that? You take this number, divide it by this, and that's what you're going to get. So if y'all want to do the math real quick or post that up in the video, I don't have a problem with that. But anyway, it's 47090 divided by 913016. Now, I can also get an extra 3% on top of that, so I think it's like 4.3, 4.4% if you round the number up or down. And then you get the memento of an extra 3% at the same time. Now, that's 7.3 also if I were to put all this to blue. So I can trade this one as I have. You see the weapon damage right here. I can roll this to blue. I can roll this chest piece to blue. I can roll this holster to blue. I can roll these set of gloves to blue. I can roll these knee pads to blue. Now, we have regen here. You can even trade off this crit damage and go to regen, but honestly, the build just works like this. Now, you do not need to be this super high tanky thing. You can go as much blue as you want. Again, I dropped this all the way to red to show that you can use it as a red. But this build works. Now, the reason why we have a Seska here and not a Sokolov is just because we need the crit chance. We need to be able to crit. Because you're relying on all this regen, you need to be able to crit with whatever you use. So we put on this as well, because it's just one of our highest damaging weapons. So even if I were to go to this, as you see, we're literally at 25% crit chance. So if I wanted to, you could put on another SMG or shotgun because of how low the crit chance is, but it's gonna suck. So your best thing to do is put on like one of these little tactical vectors or something of that nature. Honestly, I tried this AR for long range engagements, and it's still just pretty bad because you're relying on close range. So just go SMG. We have the minigunner on, because that way we get the armor on kill. Because just because we have the sustainability on your build right here, not sustained damage, we're trying to go for the sustained damage by using the memento backpack to get the tags and keep the damage going for longer, and the armor regen effect. So again, it's about your build, not just the weapon you're using. Let's see here. Explosive resistance. This is the highest explosive resistance you're going to see in the game. 70%. Now, you can easily trade out, say, this, and this, and get R and K. And I believe the R and K, before I say anything, I believe it's 3-piece, or is it 2-piece? No, it's just 2-piece. Okay, so you just need 2-piece. So you can get an extra 10%, okay, if you were to use Richter and Kaiser. So all you'd have to do is trade off, say, a Sokolov, the Grupo, or something like that. Get you some R and K, and you can have 10% more. That's it. So you'd be at 80% explosive resistance. But currently, right now, the traps would still kill you if they land on you. So explosive resistance build, it's not even worth it right now unless you just want to make one in case the explosive traps do get severely nerfed, and we're going to test that out tomorrow and find out. But if they don't get severely reduced, maybe they get reduced just enough to where explosive resistance becomes a thing. I would definitely go make this build. Now, the reason why we have SMG is because we need the explosive resistance. So we have to get the crit chance out. So the crit chance allows for the Lady of Death. This one here is survivability. Okay, we're able to sustain the incoming damage that we would take from this. So that's how it works. Now, we would get our damage out by using the Sawyer knee pads. How do you do that? Well, that's easy, because a lot of people are like, well, I have to stay in cover. No, you don't. You can run in a corner. Watch. Running in a corner, and I'm stacking up this extra damage. And you see, we're still running, and it's still stacking. See? But the moment I stop running, see, it goes away. So, now we have Unbreakable, and we have Adrenaline Rush, because our job is to get close to the player to jammer pulse them. That's it. That's your job. The jammer pulse that player. So, another way of how to get your damage out. And again, that's just DPS. There's no sustained damage on this. Just DPS. So, again, it's about the build synergy. But, you know, some people want to say otherwise. And they're always wrong.
Safe area entered.
And let's see. What else did we get? What else was it? Okay, we went over pretty much every single build. I think it was... Okay, yeah. So, for instance, right here. As you see, we have Boomerang. Critical hits have a chance to, 50% chance to return the bullet to the magazine. Also, when we're talking about this, it's sustained versus DPS. It's also about the talents you have on your weapons. So, for instance, let's see. Let's go to our rifles. Where's that? Rifleman. So, for instance, this one here is always the better one. But your landing headshots adds a stack or bonus of 10% weapon damage for 5 seconds. Max stack is 5. So, within those 5 seconds, let's say you're trying to shoot a long-range target, and you miss, and you miss, and you miss, and just before that 5 seconds you land that one shot, okay, you're going to get 20% after that. Or let's say you're trying to shoot and you're hitting nothing but body shots. Okay, but here's the thing. If you don't land a shot for 5 seconds because you have to put on a med pack or you have to do something, Rifleman will go away. And because it goes away, you then lose all this damage. Is it the better sustained piece? No, it is not. Is it the more DPS? Yes, if you are landing shots and you are consistently landing shots. But if you're not landing shots, you're not going to get the DPS. So the better DPS and sustained damage is going to be your Boomerang. Now, Is this here just as good? Potentially, yeah, because all you have to do is pulse a target. And pulsing a target gives you 15%. Always, constantly. Is it a better piece? Can be at times. It depends on how your playstyle is. Is it a strong DPS one? Most definitely. But this one here is just as good because if you have enough high crit chance, you're going to land those and you're going to get the extra damage later on. So again, it's the weapon, the talent, the skills, the build you use. So when people sit here and want to argue DPS versus sustained, they have to account for the entirety of everything you are using. So, it's hard to explain that to some people who just want to think Excel, or people who just want to think shooting range, or people who just want to think open world is the best way to demonstrate those. It's not just that, it's literally your build as well, like I said. But, you know, people want to forget those tiny little things, so. And they always get proven wrong. Ooh, that's a good one. But no. Because it's a 40 meg. What else? I think that's about it.
I'll catch you later.
But as we showed earlier, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to digress on the short part of this, and then I'm just going to get into the rest of this today. Again, your Excel pages, your firing range, your open world, they're all going to be different. Players who want to say otherwise, they're just morons. I'm sorry. You can go out here on Xbox, PlayStation, PC. You're going to get different aspects, and people who don't realize that just forget that they're different. They're different consoles. There's going to be some bugs in the system, and yeah, they also forget to show the build that and how that synergizes, where your sustained damage is versus your other damage. The scenario of what mission you're playing, the scenario of what's going on. For instance, these guys will be spread out, they'll be close, they'll be far. You're always going to forget those tiny little pieces right there. So again, I hate to burst their little tiny bubble, but sorry, they're wrong. So Good morning. Oh, thanks, Michael. As a matter of fact, Michael, I think you were the winner and stuff like that. So if you are hearing this, don't forget, you need to hit up the Discord. The Discord is in any one of my videos. Go to any one of those, or even this one right here in the description, and go ahead and hit me up on Discord and claim your prize. If you don't do it, like I gave you till yesterday, but since you're in here now, I'll give you today to give me that information so I can send you out your prize. If you don't get it by today, I got to pick another winner, bro.
Firearms training is now available at the shooting range. To book a time slot, report to the range. Those with previous law enforcement or military experience will be prioritized.
Good to see you, Agent.
Is that in? No, it's not into any of his videos. It's about people who are messaging on my other video.
Thanks for the business, Agent.
I didn't even see his video, dude. I've been working on all my other stuff, taking care of my kid. I ain't got time to look for videos right now while I'm home.
Sometimes it's a little too quiet.
Gotta give you props for what you've done.
Everything you do, Agent.
This area.
Matter of fact, where is? Have I even done anything? I'm still missing that mission. You gotta be kidding me.
Black Tusk troops have overrun the Lincoln Memorial, presumably to secure the bridge as a
You know what?
supplier deployment route.
Fuck it.
They need to
Let's
be
go do
pushed
the
out of
mission.
there. Black Tusk has taken over the memorial to control access to the bridge. Get them out of there.
I'll hold this area.
Enemy helicopter approaching.
Get yourself ready, Agent.
Friendly units inbound. Enemy's got a shield up. Fire!
Yeah, I haven't seen any of his videos past 2 days because I've been home. But again, I keep getting people on my deal sitting there saying I'm wrong about this, and what they don't understand is there's a difference between PC and a difference between console. There are times when sometimes shit doesn't register on console. There's times where PC, because again, yeah, they're the master race. They can land perfect shots half the time. They can get all this extra stuff to work a lot better than console players ever can. So to always suggest that XL is always the guaranteed way to get stuff, it's not. And that's what I try to show. And even still, you can go to the very beginning of my video. You're going to see that I hit a 2.9, think 2 or 2.97 on a headshot in the shooting range. And then when I go out there into the open world, the first few shots you see are the 2.29 or 2.97. But then after that, you start seeing, even when they still have armor, you're just going to see the 2, the 2.4. It varies. So again, a lot of people forget those tiny little things happen in console versus PC. Oh, you little bastard.
I'll deal with it. Target's out there.
There are more targets past the gate.
Oh yeah, no rogues. Send that drone out there. Damn it, I didn't hit those shots. Got it. Go ahead. Get up there. Thank you. Really, drone? Will you go out there into the sky for once? That's all I ask. Thank you. Going back against the wall. Shit. In the wrong position.
I'm coming up.
Yeah, I hope you do. Come on. Carry the little shit. Dude, drone, go out there. Yeah, and exactly. That's my point. Like, yeah, when people show these types of things, and I'm not saying it's about him. What I'm saying is when people want to talk about these things, like what I'm talking about, they forget that players are not always on PC. They are able to hit those shots. They're able to land those things. There are times when, even when I'm shooting and I'm fighting, that I'm landing those headshots, but it doesn't always count all the time because sometimes there's a latency issue or something of that nature. There's something that goes on with console versus PC. So when people sit here and say that XL is the guaranteed always going to land those specific things, when they're showing those damage numbers, they're not always accurate, because Xbox has a latency, that PlayStation has a latency, or something of that nature, where there's some type of difference between the platforms, and they're never taking that into effect. They're also not showing that the sustained damage or the DPS is from, you know, their build and how their build works as well. They're just wanting to show the weapon, and that's really all it is. Some of these content creators are forgetting to mention those aspects and how that build works as a unit with what they're using. So it's not like I'm saying anything about DOD. I'm saying they're saying this as a general, as a whole, that people are forgetting to mention these parts when they're trying to show that video. Like right here, in this scenario that I'm shooting right now, these ads are literally just funneling straight ahead. If they're funneling straight ahead, it's easy for me to show damage, it's easy for me to show numbers. If they're spaced out and I'm in a part where they're not able to stay in a certain spot, like if I go do DCD headquarters, how they're able to just move around, you're going to get a different aspect. You're going to get a different time scenario. You're going to get all these different variables that people forget to put into their videos. Oh shit, I only got one key. I need another key. There's another box up ahead. I thought this was Seska. Why am I getting LMGs? Is this LMGs? Oh, it's ongoing directive. Why the hell am I getting a shit ton of LMGs? Oh, would you look at that? Trash. I see right there. I knew where to shoot. I know where to hit those enemies to get their weakest spots taken care of. Versus there's other players who wouldn't know that. Yeah,
Targeted. I need a move.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
and like right there, some people don't understand either, another good example is I was able to keep my sustained damage on this focus by basically doing this, and I'll demonstrate it right here while I got time, because I'm not trying to time run this. So for instance, you see I'm aimed, and then I stop aiming, and then I re-aim. See how the focus still comes up? Is because as long as I re-aim within 2 seconds, even though that's not on there, you see the focus keeps coming back. So I'm able to keep my sustained damage up and going by using that. And that's another aspect that a lot of people forget to mention in their videos. For instance, that everybody wants to think that glass is the best thing to go to. If I can go and I can even put, and y'all saw, I'm not always landing my headshots, but when I do, I rip them apart because I have this on there. Now, does it mean it's the best thing for your playstyle? No, it doesn't. For instance, I can put on focus, I can aim right here, get the damage out, stop aiming, reacquire my target, reacquire my target, reacquire my target, and I can still keep my damage going. I can still build up my damage all day long, and that keeps my sustained damage going. Now when I take an explosive, I'm going to get staggered, and I see it in 2 seconds, I lose it. So if I don't re-aim within those 2 seconds, I lose my sustained damage. And a lot of people forget, all they're trying to do is just show sustain versus other stuff. And that's what my one video is about. It's not about just getting one or the other. It's about trying to keep it all together as a whole throughout your build. And your build is what's going to make that.
Kill them all. On your flank! Running you down! Repeat! Take your beating!
Drones are free!
Shit! Proceeding! Demanding. I got it.
You see, I'm able to keep my focus going, and I stop aiming, ladies and gentlemen. Again, that's how you can get your sustained on your build. So it's not always, when people talk about sustain, again, that's what I'm trying to point out, that we as content creators, some of us forget to mention that aspect of how to keep your sustained damage going. Because again, if I were to throw glass cannon on this thing, the moment I have to put on a med pack, my sustained damage goes away because I'm not able to keep that damage going. So again, that's a major aspect people forget.
The command room is
your talents. Like for instance, once I take
Find them and
damage, I lose
neutralize
this. Okay, I lose some sustained damage because I took damage. So would companion be better? Most definitely, but I lose out on 10% weapon damage. Now I can keep my drone floating above me all day long and keep the sustained damage going more. Yes, I could, but I get my sustained out from this one, so I get my damage out from this one. So it's a trade-off. I'm keeping sustained here and my DPS here. Yeah, it does have a grace period, and that's what a lot of people don't know. A lot of people think that it's just straight like what it is. No, it has a grace period. And the game doesn't even mention that in there, so that's what I'm saying. It's a lot of content creators forget to mention those tiny little aspects, but those tiny aspects can actually mean something in this game.
Moving in.
Oh my god, that's trash. That's trash. Yeah, and
The last place
again,
they could hide. Time to get
that's what
topside.
I mean. It's good to know those tiny little things, and some of these guys, they forget that. They forget to mention that in their videos, and that's all I'm trying to point out. Because I can sit here and rock glass cannon, I can sit here and rock vigilance, I can sit here and rock Petrov gloves, Overlord knee pads, get a piece of group out, get this build to where it's looking like a perfect glass, go out here and every single shot, because it's max crit, it's max crit hit damage, it's gonna land those shots. Like if I put this thing to 60 right here and what is it, let's say I get 185, let's say I put 60 and 185 right here, I can literally go out there and almost every bullet I crit is going to crit, and it's going to crit at max because there's no fluctuation.
Well done.
Let's say I keep my vigilance, let's say I keep my glass cannon effect going, it's never going to fluctuate. You'll never see those damage numbers fluctuate. Now that's a DPS piece, and the glass cannon is a DPS, but your sustained survivability as well as your damage, because if you have to put on a med kit, you lose sustained damage. So again, it's a DPS type build versus this one here. I get my DPS out over here, and because I'm able to keep myself going longer without having to put a med pack on, I get my sustained from here. So again, that's why in certain spots they have to mention those specific aspects. If they're not showing you those, then the video that they're showing you, the build that they're showing you, it doesn't matter who it is, even if it's me, even if it's DOD, even if it's someone else, if they're not showing you that or explaining that, they're messed up somewhere. And the biggest one I always gotta say that always messes that stuff up is the guy, was his name, Running Butcher. He just wants to say, oh, this is godlike, this is this, but he never shows anything. He doesn't even show what his teammates are showing you, because he's always got that extra damage somewhere. Guys like him are just horrible at making builds and videos, because they just want the clickbait. Yeah, and that's why I don't mess with Sawyers. The only time I mess with Sawyers is on my explosive regen build. That's it. I don't even mess with that on a pestilence build. It's not worth it, because once you move, you screw yourself. It is not worth it. Sawyer's loss is horrible. I wish they would address that. I've asked them a few times. I gave up on it. But yeah, Sawyer's is horrible.
I can think of a lot of reasons why they shouldn't be allowed to. Go get them, Agent.
Okay, I joined Discord. Okay, so, sorry, Michael, I'm sorry, I've been dealing with other stuff. I didn't see your comment there. So if you join my Discord, you'll see me in my Discord. Just go to me and private message me. Sorry about that, Michael. If you, sorry about getting to you so late on that one. If you can just private message me on my Discord, we'll set that up. Some part today, I'll set that up for you. Let's see here. Okay, we got heroic. It is Seska. Okay, there was a Seska I was looking for, wasn't there? Yeah, because if I can get the Seska crit chance crit damage with Wicked, I could trade the Grupo for the mask. So I need to find that one that I can roll blue. And any other Seska in any spot? No. Okay. Alright, so that's all I need to find. Matter of fact, do I have a... Yeah. For instance, like right here, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, you can see I don't have to have vigilance. That little drone will float by me and it's going to pulse them. Watch.
No hiding the gunfire. But with a bit of luck,
See?
you can get to the
I
team
could get
before they can
Companion
engage.
out and have sustained damage and DPS at the same time because I'm able to keep that damage going. Oh, please put up a drone. Actual perks? Don't they already have perks on these? Or talents, I should say? Fenris chest with no focus. No, I'm not going for that. I'm going for this right here. Just because I'm going to even out the damage. I'm not going for a Fenris with focus because I use this one here to help both of these weapons. Because if I have to switch between one or the other, it helps out both of them at the same time. Again, I don't go one-sided. So if I need to hit those hard shots, I use the M1A. I have this on here. I could technically go with the Fenris for the focus to help this one out, but then this here ends up losing damage versus having both of these like this. I get the equal out damage for both of them. Now this one here will always give me more because of the boomerang and the foxes on here, but I'm still better off with this to give this one the most damage, and this one here gets pretty close to most damage. Now, honestly, if it comes to talents, I wish they'd put talents back on every fucking piece of gear like they used to have. Are you throwing a jammer at me? I see that sniper up there. It's hard for me to land that, so I gotta go for the one shot. Bam. Oh, he was over the wall. You know what? Screw this. Let's just one pop him. Shock rounds.
I have eyes on the team collecting samples. They don't look like they're in a hurry.
Good news for us. Who knows what those assets are gonna do with the samples from the Roosevelt quarantine.
Ooh. Oh, crap. Nope, close and personal. Piece of shit. You see I can still run up and build up focus as I'm getting closer to them.
Where did that come from?
Where'd that come from? Right over here, bitch.
Rogue agent detected.
Oh, here we go. Rogue agents. Alright, let's see. Is there an EMP still out there? I don't see the EMP. Oh. I want to make sure that EMP is gone before. Okay, EMP is destroyed. Okay, good. There you are. Come on. No, I don't think so.
Rogue fixer drone detected. Rogue bombardier drone detected.
Nope. No drones for you. Come on, bitch. Let's go. Homie, don't play dumb. Alright, you're far, far away. Now let's go for the major damage. And done.
Rogue agent eliminated.
Again, right there, ladies and gentlemen, it's situational awareness. Knowing your situations. It's not just the build. As you saw, I knew that if I shoot right here, I can get that damage out without them touching me. And that's how you get your sustained and your DPS at the same time. So, again, another great point as to how I'm able to keep that damage going against them. So, it's not just the weapon. It's not just the build as well. It's everything you can possibly put into this game. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah, so for instance, see, I can build up focus. I switch out as long as I'm holding my trigger down, or what I use to scope. It just keeps stacking. At this point of the game, in playing expensive specific builds, sorry. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so again, yeah, when it comes down to, and this is all not by anybody else's video, this is based on what people keep talking about, like when they message me in my Discord, when they say other things, it's not just about the build. It's not just about the weapon. It's not just about your skills. It's not just about your talents. It's literally about everything synergizing together. Again, it's all... This game, ladies and gentlemen, in short, is about your build synergy. What synergizes with your teammates, what synergizes with your weapon, what synergizes with your talents, what synergizes with your skills. It's all about synergy. It's making it work the best for you, your play style, how you prefer to play. Not just about what the game is itself. Again, I might come up with a build. You might see KVD come up with a build. You might see DOD come up with a build. You might see Mark of Blades come up with a build. You might see all these other people come up with a build. And they talk about how theirs is the best. Even I talk about how mine is the best. You might sit here and see, well, this is the best way to get this type of damage. You're going to see all those kinds of things. But if the build itself does not synergize with your play style, with how the build itself, like the weapon, the talents, the other stuff, does not synergize, then it's not going to be a good build. For instance, what he asked, why am I not using the Fenris focus, or am I looking for a Fenris focus? I'm not, because if I take and put that on, I take away damage from this to give this one damage. At the same time, this knee pad is also giving this one damage, but I can get more damage for my main, my strongest weapon, and give this one more damage just by using this chest piece versus the Fenris. So, does it mean that the Fenris is not good for this? No, it could be, because that Fenris would give this here weapon damage, this right here gives this weapon damage, and then the focus gives them both an equal amount of weapon damage. But I would lose, I believe it's 50 versus 60, so I'm losing 10%, which the Fenris is already 10%, right? Now, I'm just trying to give you all this. I know the numbers are different, especially in XL, but when it also comes down to it is the simplicity, because some people don't understand those numbers. So we have to break it down like that. The perfect focus is 60, regular focus is 50. So technically it would be 10%. Right? So if I put the Fenris on, I've already got the 10% for this, versus when I max out my focus, I'm also giving this one here 10 more percent. So that's why I went with this. Now, I would lose 10% from this one to give this one here 10% in per se. What are you? Ooh, sniper dog, sniper dog, sniper dog. Ooh. I see, like right there, knowing to hit that gas can to get him out of the cover is situational awareness. Please don't hit me with that grenade. You bastard. I tried to move around, but I couldn't do it in time.
viral contamination containers. Destroyed.
I'm honestly, I hate everybody saying that I'm a higher class of player. Not me, but I mean when people say that in general, because you get people even in PvP who think that they're better than other players, but when they get ghosted, they get mad and stuff like that. There's other players out here who, even as content creators, are like, "Oh, you're criticizing my content. You're criticizing this." It's not to be taken personal. It's a freaking game. Again, if people want to criticize my stuff, that's fine. If you keep it peaceful, I'm okay with that. When you start to become like a toxic person like that, it's different. Like me, if you want to sit here and say that, hey, your playstyle, your builds are all that kind of trash, that's fine. That's your own personal opinion. When you start going to a personal level, that's when it's a little too far. Like now, KVD, him and me, him and me will always have a problem until he apologizes. Once he apologizes, okay, I'll let everything go. As for some of these other content creators, you want to sit here and say that your shit is the best, or you as a player are a better class of player. You're really not. Everybody will lose. There's going to be times when your video, your connectivity turns into shit. And you're going to die. You're going to lose out in proving that your numbers are better. You're going to lose out in showing that your content is the best. It's really just situational awareness. That's really all it boils down to, honestly. Like, for instance, right here, another situational awareness. I know they're going to drop right here, and I know the ads are going to come over here. So if I kill these... Once I kill these, look, they're going to come over here. I know the situation. Does that make me a better player? No. It doesn't make me a better player. It actually makes me worse because I already know where they're going to be. There's some players who don't even play this game. They have no clue that those ads are going to come over here. And when they test out these builds that they see from other content creators, like, well, this didn't work this way. Well, that's because they didn't know about this. They didn't know they're going to instantly come from over here. Damn it, I need keys. Yeah, I'm like that teacher who's not afraid to... Dude, I'm a truck driver. I've been in the military. There's no fucks given when it comes to me. I literally will give no fucks. And see, like right here, see how I'm not taking any damage? I'm able to keep this. That's because my situational awareness is high. I know where I can be at where I don't take damage, so I can keep my damage going. Does that show my build the great way? No, it just shows that I know the situation.
Got a chopper inbound, and it doesn't look friendly.
Rockets incoming!
Fly, fly, my little pretty fly. Ain't that the truth? Getting chewed up. I can't shoot through that little tree. Oh. Yeah, I forgot. Let's go over here.
Take out those tanks. Back out.
Hostiles eliminated.
Looks like the Tusks have loaded the samples into containers for transport.
Stop them, whatever it takes.
Black Tusk are packing those samples into containers on the docks.
Don't let them take a goddamn thing off that island.
I make no promises. I'm not part of the men's warehouse, sir. Only that motherfucker gives guarantees.